All right, we back. Idiots talking ball. Evo Bennett.
Yeah.
New series. We're doing division predictions. Cannot promise consistency, but we will be elite while doing it. We're
Yep.
starting with literally the worst division ever. The NFC South. The Panthers, the Falcons, the Bucks, the Saints.
That is a rank ass division.
I mean, we have to predict it. We have to start somewhere. Why not start at
At the bottom.
the bottom? But should we jump it? Okay, so the Panthers got Bryce Young, Thielen, Mingo. Their defense was already looking nice.
Don't forget about DJ Shark, bro.
They lost DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Along with who is their new coach? Frank Reich, who I like.
They have a really good coaching staff.
They do. I feel like it might be one of those that we look back and like, how were all those guys on the same team? Almost like the Redskins back in 2014.
Yeah, when they had McVay, O'Connell.
It's not going to be that elite.
Yeah.
Like
But
O'Connell
it's pretty
of
elite
that
right now.
list, probably like the fifth you're going to name. The Falcons got Bijan, who is already in talks like for leading the league in rushing, so he's pretty good. Their defense, Jesse Bates added to the defense, a few other additions that more minor, but the defense still looks really good. Offensive line good as always. Drake London and Pitts. And Arthur Smith is a very good scheme coach.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they have the worst QB in the NFL. Desmond Ridder sucks.
I think we'll get into that when we do.
Yep.
Who did the Saints add? They still have Dennis Allen, so
Derek Carr.
Yep. Who? Okay. And then who did they draft?
No, they signed Lions running back.
DeAndre
I
Swift.
can't think of his name.
No.
Nope. That was the Eagles.
Jamal Williams. No.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't locked in on the Saints this offseason because I honestly think they suck. The Buccaneers added Kalijah Cansey. They lost a lot on the secondary. Obviously, losing Tom Brady is probably not the best either, as well as their line continues to just slowly diminish. That's a quick overview of all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we should just go into our predictions. Voila. Top is cut off, but we move. So Bennett, your first place team was the Carolina Panthers at 9-8. So
yes,
elite team.
So not elite team. This division's awful. I have them going 5-1 in the division. The only game I have them losing is against the Saints because I think the Saints are the only team in this division that could put up a good fight against them. I really like their coaching staff. I like Bryce Young. I like DJ Shark. This is going to be a hot take. I like DJ. Actually, no, it's not. It's not a hot take at all. I like DJ Shark right now more than I like Adam Thielen right now. I kind of like that wide receiver core. I don't think it's underrated at all. I do think that Jonathan Mingo was the most underrated wide receiver in the entire class this year, so I really did like this pick. They have an interesting schedule. Because of their division, they play 3 awful teams twice a year, so it's almost 6 free wins, but I'm giving them 5. Mm-hmm. There's a stretch where they're going to have a 4-game losing streak. They play the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Dolphins, which I think are all A-tier teams in this league. And I think the Lions are a B to a B+ tier team.
I have them going 0-4 in that stretch as well.
Yeah. And then after that they play 2 shitters, so
but
they get a little bounce back.
Is usually you don't really love a week 7 bye, but you come off an 0-4 stretch, you go into the bye, you come out playing the Texans, the Colts and then the Bears. And like that's a good like recalibration spot. And even there, like you're hot and you're coming off a bye, and you can look to do some damage against the Cowboys, who I think are going to be in that upper echelon. And
Yeah.
the Titans, who honestly I have no clue about. But yeah,
I-
the back half of their schedule is extremely favorable. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
going on back there.
And I don't think Andy Dalton is anywhere near an elite QB, but I do think it says something that Bryce Young has already beaten him out for the QB1 job, and we're not even in what's it called?
Yeah, what do you expect from Bryce Young? Because you have
I
them winning 9 games, so obviously he
yeah.
has to be competent.
I expect above a 3,000 yard season. I don't expect a 4,000 yard season at all. Um, I I really like. I'm pretty high on Miles Sanders. I've always thought he's an underrated player, so I think that that's a really good addition, and it's going to be really good for your rookie QB to have a at least reliable running back. Um, I think I think that Bryce Young's going to do good. I don't think he's going to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if Adam Thielen's your wide receiver one, I'm not feeling really comfortable with that.
I mean going like on I don't know if I want to. No, I'm not going to say that. But like going from Alabama to the Panthers in your wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver core is like goes from one of the best like that you're going to play with
Mm-hmm.
comparatively to the defense you're going to play against to probably one of, if not the worst, wide receiver core relative to all the others in the league. I
Yeah.
mean, luckily he's playing against like a very well developed offensive line. I think that's my favorite
Mm-hmm.
part of like the Panthers kind of
Yeah.
rebuild. Like they really got the offensive line right. It's not perfect. The inside could use a little bit of work,
Mm-hmm.
but you're good on tackles. Um, so he's going to have room to work with. It be like a Justin Fields early situation where you're like it's him relying on like at pure athleticism and instincts. He's going to be
Yeah.
able. You're going to know very quickly if Bryce Young is that dude because while his receivers might not be able to separate, you'll be able to actually see him like get through his reads. And if he's getting through his reads, you're going to feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah. I would have really wished, or I really wish they would have drafted a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tommy Tremble is trash necessarily. I just don't think
He's just not that good.
he's just pretty
He doesn't
average.
move the needle.
Yeah, and
I don't even know if he's average either.
going from Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers to Tommy Tremble is, or wait, no, not Brock Bowers.
No.
Brock Bowers is at.
Sorry,
I'm
with
so
Darnell
stupid. I was
Washington.
thinking about. Yeah, I was thinking about. I don't know what. Sorry, casual.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had a good tight end core.
I mean, and they just had good weapons, right?
Yeah.
Like he had safety blankets all over the field as well as Nick Saban.
A little embarrassing. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I do
then we
wish they would have drafted one.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about their defense. Like they have a very young, explosive defense. Brian Burns is good off the edge. Maybe he takes a step, but even if he doesn't, he's one of those top guys.
I feel like Derek Brown is a very good player as well.
Derek Brown's very good. Jeremy Chin, who owns the Vikings, but is very good himself. And then if J.C. Horn can stay healthy, he's like a top 3 corner of the league. And I think I might push to say he's the best.
They got our boy at safety too. Why can't I remember his name? Who we had 2021?
Anthony Harris?
Nope.
No, that's 19.
He was pretty good for us today.
Xavier Woods.
3-year deal. No.
Xavier Woods.
Or wait, yes. Xavier Woods.
Well, we've gotten to the point where we're naming random safeties who
exactly.
At one point. So the Panthers, good, okay. I mean, they're okay. Next, you had, if it'll let me go, the Saints at 8 and 9. I disagree with this heavily. Should I just like reveal mine as well so we can like really discuss?
Sure.
No, it's I need more than sure.
No, because it'll do all than mine. It'll do all of mine out too, and then it'll do yours. But I don't care. It's up to you.
Like, then we can embrace debate.
Yeah.
So this is mine. This is Bennett's. I guess we can. So I mean, Panthers 8 and 9, one less win. We're pretty lockstep there. You said you had them 5-1, right?
You
said you had them 5-1 in the division.
Yeah, I had them trading with the Panthers.
Yeah, same. I had the Panthers 5-1.
So I really just I don't think adding Derek Carr is enough to get you over the hump. I think that it's good to add Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a good QB, but he's not a great QB. And he's not going to bring you to the playoffs when you have that offensive line. You have a pretty piss poor defense, in my opinion. Your best player on your defense is old and unfortunately an idiot. I like one of their corners, a younger guy they drafted maybe last year.
I'm looking at their depth chart right now. Dude, how can you like any of these guys?
There's just one of them that was like pretty decent.
Bradley Roby?
No, maybe I can't remember
No
his name.
way you like any of these people.
Anyways,
Alon Taylor?
I really like their wide receiver core. Chris Olave was probably my favorite wide receiver to come out of last year's draft. If Michael Thomas can not have an injury for 2 seconds, then that would be pretty beneficial, I feel, for them. I like Chris Olave more, in my honest opinion, because he's actually played in the last 4 years. Alvin Kamara's on a decline. I don't think he's going to help them out that much.
Dude, their offensive line is so
it's
bad.
Awful.
They have Trevor Penning, who is like my least favorite draft prospect ever.
Yeah.
And then like even their receiver core, you have to trust Michael Thomas to stay healthy for it to be like even like decent.
I like Rashid Shaheed. I think his name was. I wish they gave him more.
But if he's your wide receiver 3, let alone your like wide receiver 3, fine. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if Michael Thomas is wide receiver 2, that's a cool receiver room. I'm still not like ecstatic about it. But like you take Michael Thomas out of there, which at some point this season, like it's a given, you're going to have to probably for a very extended portion of the season. Nah, man, I don't like it. And Derek Carr throw into that behind that offensive line. I mean, like
he's dealt with a horrible offensive line his like whole career though.
And he's dealt like this is essentially like a very Raiders offense circa 2019. It's just like he wasn't that good. And I mean, he was like, again, I feel like Derek Carr disrespect has gone a little too far.
Yeah.
But he's not a top 14 quarterback. He's very mediocre, and mediocre quarterbacks are going to basically rise and fall with the level of their roster. And I don't like their offense. Their defense is, again, not good. It's very like the good players are very old, like Cameron Jordan, Mario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Marshawn Lattimore. Is good, but like he's not what he was. I think he's like an above average corner at this point. I think he might be running a little bit off name value. He's not in that elite category. But not, and then Marcus May is good. It's just like there's not much going on here. And then Dennis Allen on top of it. Like I can't trust them to go win football games. I'm gonna take a look at their schedule one more time. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
They should have. They're going to continue to be mediocre until they do what they've needed to do since Drew Brees left, which is just blow it all up. Their contracts are a mess.
Well, honestly, it's not even they're pretty good on cap space now. Not like you're not happy.
Well, it's just when you do this every year.
Yeah,
it's been every year for the past 6 years.
They've been just recycling stuff, and at some point you just got to throw it all in the trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's no stretches of games that I'm like, yeah, they got that. Yeah. It's not a hard schedule by any means. I mean, there's I've yet to see an elite team on here. It's just like these are all teams that I feel are better than them. So what I think it comes down to is I think it will. A lot of these games will come down to the wire because I think a lot of them, maybe on paper, like the Titans, like the Panthers, like the Texans, like the Bears.
Patriots.
Nah, I'm a bit higher on the Patriots.
Really?
Like the Rams, like the Bucks twice. Like these are teams that, I mean, on paper, you could have a pretty good argument as to who's better. But Dennis
Not the
Allen,
Rams, I don't think. I think that they cream the Rams.
no, they don't.
Rams are. We'll talk about that when we do NFC West.
I mean, I'm when I say I'm higher on the Rams, I'm not high on the Rams, but like I'm higher on the Rams than other people, just because they have Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and Aaron Donald. Like I think those. I mean, again, we'll get to it, but I think those four like win them at least like 4 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 5-12 is what I have them at. That might. I feel like that's maybe 4-13 is like the floor for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 9-8 is probably the ceiling for them. So anything within that range, I mean, that might be the case for all these teams, just because they all play each other and they all suck. So, but yeah, I have them at 5-12 just because I don't trust them to win those games. Let's do the Bucks, because we're gonna actually have like a conversation about the Falcons.
Yeah. Just with Tampa Bay, I think they have a few pretty I think they have a few definitely elite guys, and then they have a few pretty good guys, but then they have a lot of really bad guys.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
I really like Antoine Winfield. I really like Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is the most consistent player. This is a pretty big flame and take right now. I think he's the most consistent player in NFL history.
Oh, no, why? Why do you think that?
Because numbers.
Numbers. No, okay. So, I think the headline is you don't have Tom Brady anymore, and your secondary got significantly.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, pretty much.
Actually, not like looking at it, it's not that much weaker, but it's not as bad as maybe I made it out to be.
I mean, I really like their defensive line. Like, that is disgusting in my opinion.
I only like 2 guys on their defensive line.
Like, I know you're not that high on Kancey, but I mean, Vita Vea, if Kancey can be
Vita Vea.
Average, if Vita Vea can be or if Kancey can be average, then that's going to be pretty disgusting.
What scheme do they run? They run a 3-4. That's kind of awkward. Like if they're running a 4-3 with both Kancey and I mean, like I'm sure they'll make it work, but that is like kind of awkward. Like I don't know if and Kancey won't be exclusively off the edge, but he's not gonna be like over the guard, A gap type things, which is where like he's not big enough to do that. That was my biggest gripe. But like next to someone like Vita Vea who's gonna swallow bodies on the inside, at least Kancey can kind of finesse his way around dudes. Like he has a really deep bag. If he's rushing off the edge, or that's more, he's not gonna be like off the edge exclusively, but he's gonna be on the edge more than he probably should, and I don't like that.
Their center is what's their center's name again?
Ryan Jensen.
Yeah, he is coming off a ACL tear, correct?
Him and Wirfs, right?
That's like a little awkward. Those are your 2 best players on your O-line, and they're coming off injury. And I don't really know anyone else on their O-line because I know they traded Shaq Mason, right?
He had 3 ligament tears and a meniscus injury. Like, that's tough, especially when you like need that anchor at center.
And I don't think Baker's an average QB, but I think that what happened last year and what happened in 2021 with him playing through an injury the entire season, and then his team trading him and trading for probably the most overrated QB in the league right now, trading for him with all those picks kind of makes Baker look like he's trash. I don't think he's trash, but I don't think he's going to help them at all. I think the OTAs stuff has made him look really bad, but I don't think it matters till pads are on.
It's another kind of Derek Carr thing for me, where he's gonna rise and fall with whatever's around him, And I don't like the idea of Baker Mayfield getting pressured a lot. Now, he does have the luxury of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
And Russell Gage.
But yeah, he's okay. But again, with Chris Godwin, like I can't trust him to play a full season. He will miss 4 to 5 games.
Yeah.
And so 5-12. Again, this division is really volatile. So, I mean, if you looked at my list and you said actually you have it backwards, I'd be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the makeup of their team, and I don't like Todd Bowles.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Is I don't think this team's gonna tank because Todd Bowles is gonna be playing for his job. That's why I have them at 5-12. Because if they were tanking, then they could be an 0-17 team if they tank correctly. Maybe a 2-win team.
I have them at 2-4 in the division, and maybe that's a little bit harsh.
Yeah, I have them at 2-4 as well.
Like I honestly think that might be a little bit harsh, but they're going to drop at least one of the Saints.
I have them beating the Falcons only.
Their schedule is actually, I mean, they won the division last year, so it's too tough for them.
Well, I mean, starting off,
you play the Vikings, which
I have them beating the Bears, but honestly, I think that could be an either way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But they were home, next so week, I took them. Going from the Bears to the Eagles is possibly the worst possible thing ever.
Dude, a week 5 bye is actually so heartbreaking.
And then they go into I have them beating the Falcons, but I think the Lions game is going to be tough on them. And then they beat the Falcons and they play the Bills.
All right, peep this. So you've played 4 games to this point. You have to come out of week 5 and play that's 13 games straight. It's 13 weeks straight you're playing football. You have to play the Lions, who are going to be tough no matter what. The Falcons, who are going to pound it and it's going to be taxing. You got to play the Bills. You have to play the Niners. You have to play the Titans, who are always going to beat you up as well, whether they're good or not.
Yeah.
You have to play the Packers, who I am high on. You have to play the
Jaguars,
and then the rest of these are division games, so those are going to be tough as well. It's like that is not an easy schedule, and it's 13 weeks straight.
Yeah,
and not only that, like best case scenario, you're going into the bye 2-2 because I do not see a way they beat the Vikings or you beat the Eagles, and then the other 2 games are toss-ups.
Yeah,
so it's like that's so tough.
This next one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so I have the Falcons at 9-8 and winning the division, and Bennett has them at 2-15. I think just because of the nature of your record, I feel like you have to go first.
Okay. I do like some of the Falcons players. I really do. And I do think that Arthur Smith is a pretty good coach. And honestly, like I feel bad saying this because I constantly say that it's not real, that QB wins aren't a stat. But dude, I do not think Desmond Ridder is good.
Yeah, but they do have Heineke. But they have, and I am a Heineke hater. Okay, they have Heineke on the bench, who has come in and actually won games for
I'm gonna
a very
be honest
bad Commanders
with you.
team.
If Heineke comes in and is the starter for this team, they're gonna win more games.
Okay, but you have them going 2-15. At some point in a 2-15 season, they're gonna bench Ridder and put in Heineke.
We're not thinking about that though. We're not thinking about that. I like their cornerback room. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty good. They've got some young players and they have some veterans on there.
This defense is like I'm really liking this defense, man.
I'm looking at Calais Campbell though, and I'm not thinking he's gonna save your season.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Grady Jarrett, who is up there in age, but still pretty nice on the inside.
Yeah.
AJ Terrell is another one of those guys. When healthy, is I mean, he took a little bit of a step back. Was he injured last year? I don't remember.
I think he got hurt. I can't remember.
But yeah, I mean, he is another one of those top 5 wins.
I do think they have an underrated offensive line.
Their offensive line's good. It's consistent.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with their tackles. Like, this is what I would say. We talked about this earlier when we were doing our drafts for them. I think that Bijan is a really good pick for them, especially because they're a run first, second, and third type of team.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved Miles Murphy to them. But then again, I'm not really familiar with their tackles. I do really like Chris Lindstrom. I think he's
McGarry's good, I believe.
I think he's one of the most underrated D linemen, or not D line. Sorry, I was looking at the roster. One of the most underrated offensive guards in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't recognize they drafted Clark Phillips, so actually, I really like that defensive back room. You know, I love Clark Phillips. I really like that room actually, and of course, I think Drake London's probably the most reliable wide receiver from last year's class. I think Kyle Pitts is a very reliable player as well.
And I think there's too many guys here, especially when playing 6 games against the Bucks, the Saints, and the Panthers, that they don't at least win them a few games.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, their schedule is pretty light.
Let me look.
I mean, we talked about the one stretch, right? Or
well, starting off, week 1 to 5 is pretty awful for them.
How so?
In my opinion, Panthers, Packers, Lions, and then Jaguars.
That's not that hard.
I think those are some pretty. I'm higher on the Lions this year. I'm really high on the Jaguars this year.
I see. The thing is, I think the Jags. I mean, this is like we're kind of like bleeding, like we're not coloring inside the lines right now. But I think the Jags are going to start slow, and so they're going to win that game. The Jags are like.
I mean, and
they
to
beat
be
the
honest,
Packers. They beat the Panthers. That's
like I say this stuff about Desmond Ridder, but to be honest, we haven't had enough of a sample size of him yet. But the fact to me that Mariota was still starting over him late into the season kind of says something to me.
It's like, just like their running game, and like take Bijan out of it. Last season, their running game
and Patterson are pretty
like seriously. Remove Bijan from your mind, like for 30 seconds. Their running game was still like among like the top 3 in the league last season. Their scheme is really good, and their offensive line, as we discussed, is not only good in pass blocking, but even better in run blocking.
Yeah.
Now add one of the most explosive, one of the best, most just one of the best running backs we've seen since Saquon behind that offensive line. I think that's a pretty surefire thing. It's going to get better. I really like that, and then that takes a lot of pressure off of Desmond Ridder, who I don't think is going to be good. He'll probably be a bottom 5-10 quarterback, but he doesn't have to be that good, especially again in this division. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs when they get there, if they get there, but they can win 9 games.
Even if they go,
and then even like Pitts hasn't really I know he had that 1,000-yard season, but we haven't really seen Pitts and if he can kind of show us something, that's nice. And then like you said, what's his name? Drake London is a pretty sure thing, low floor or high floor type of guy.
I hope. I obviously I never want a team to do bad. Like I never want to see teams fail. But if they go 2-15, I really hope they do not fire Arthur Smith, because I hate when teams do that when they're in this rebuild and they just fire their head coach when when the players are finally getting into the scheme. If they go 2-15, I really hope they drafted Caleb Williams or a Drake May, because that would be pretty disgusting, in my opinion. Because you have someone who can elevate your game. You have 2 receiving weapons that are they're young and they're pretty good. And then you have Bijan in the backfield. That'd be pretty disgusting. But I like what Arthur Smith has been doing. I think they went 7-10 last year, right?
It was better than anybody expected. Yeah.
I think that was him willing them. That was like him willing them to that. Like that was coaching.
So my thing is, they went 7-10 last season,
Mm-hmm.
and they like objectively got better, as well as they're getting a few guys back from injury. And obviously, this is predicting like unless you are an injury-prone player and you're injured every year, like we did for Michael Thomas, like we did for Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Unless I have a reason to think you'll get injured, I'm not going to like predict injury.
Yeah.
And for that reason, like, why can't they win 2 more games in a
Yeah.
worse division? Like it got worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I could
So you're
just
stupid.
okay. I like the Panthers so much more as a roster.
So
I'm
much more that you have
sorry.
them winning 7 more games.
Yes.
Whatever, man.
I don't know. I feel like I don't like this Falcons schedule that much. As I'm looking at it, I think that these teams are better. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I'm gonna be wrong. Well, I don't think we're gonna get any of these records right at all.
Yeah,
But
I mean, probably not. And
at least we're not Adam ranking this to where we're having where you could have the Falcons going 15-2, and I have the Panthers going 17-0. At least we have somewhat accuracy.
Last season, I did some crazy things, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna stay kind of modest this season. And this
Yeah,
division blows 9-8. Like honestly, we might be a win too much for all of these teams, like every single one
probably.
of them. But I don't even have the Falcons doing that crazy in division.
Mhm.
I have them 3-3 in division. Let
Yeah,
me see. Do I have any like, oh wow, like they beat them kind of? I haven't beating us, the Vikings, which we kind of talked about. I just think their run game would be kind of
yeah,
overpowering, and their defense is good enough to limit explosives. Yeah, there's no games on here where you're like, what? The Falcons beat them? Like I haven't beating the Bears, I haven't beating the Saints, the Colts, the Saints again, the Vikings, the Commanders, the Texans, the Packers, and Panthers. Like,
Mhm.
and I have them losing to teams like the Cardinals and the Titans and the Bucks. So
Yeah,
like honestly, they're the only team in this division that I could see maybe winning more than I predicted them to.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the Saints, but that doesn't matter if they win 7 games.
Yeah,
Like the Falcons could be good this season because they have such a bad schedule.
yeah.
But yeah, that's the NFC South. The NFC
We
South
hitting
sucks.
AFC South next time, or I think we should go with that.
Dude, let's just on it because I have a hot take in the NFC South.
I
So
think
yeah,
that that's going to be a really fun division to watch this year.
I'm not gonna watch. Actually, I'm gonna watch 2 teams in there. I have a
I
crush
kind
on one of those teams. So,
Texans and Jaguars
but
but
yeah,
I want to see the Colts too, and
AFC
Titans look good
South.
games. So
We can record next Tuesday. That's the next time I'm free.
okay,
Um, unless you want to do something tomorrow, like late.
I got work.
No, wait, never mind. The draft is tomorrow. No.
Oh yeah, I'm watching the NBA draft.
But yeah, AFC South next, and we will be consistent. Hopefully,
Yes.
Silas joins us on the next one.
Yep. All right.
So wait, who? Just to recap, who did you have going to the playoffs?
Going to the playoffs, Panthers.
Panthers. You had no
And
other
then we
team in
could
the
do
wild card.
a playoff. We could do a
That
full playoffs when we finish everyone's record.
and that would hopefully be like right when the season's about to start.
Yep.
But you have the Panthers. Nobody else wild card. I have the
Not yet. We
Falcons.
don't know how it's gonna all toss up.
Bro, come on.
Hey,
Oh yeah, I mean you're right.
never know.
Yeah, you don't. Stay tuned to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we out.